Hi, and we're back on the Review Zoo. We're here live from New York Comic Con, and I am here to talk to the artists on Law of Resistance, Ian Dorian and Joe Weems. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
All right. So your book is from PKMM Entertainment.
Yes.
For anyone who is foolish enough to not know about the book, can you explain a little bit to the folks at home?
Oh, sure. To give you a very good clue right away, Law of Resistance is about family. It mostly deals with a very important family, royal family. Their world is crumbling. They need to find a new world to inhabit. The king refuses to conquer another world. He feels his people should resolve their problems. He's a pacifist. This causes a problem with the leader of his army and the general, General Tech. The general believes that if he can conquer it, he can own it. So this becomes a moral question. The result is things happen, there's a coup d'etat, they're overthrown, they must leave. In the interim, Dr. Aaron, their lead scientist, had been designing uniforms, prototype uniforms for all of the people, designed for man, woman, and child, so that they can then inhabit the world, to leap, if you will. Well, the family dons the prototype suits and escapes to our Earth. When they arrive in our Earth, they come and inadvertently bring the army with them, after them.
Okay.
This causes a war between our army and theirs. And once again, inadvertently, these regular people with no superpowers of any kind discover that these uniforms are symbiotic and that they are based on the imagination of the wearer. So the result is that these people become the first heroes of Earth.
Gotcha.
They do eventually resolve the issues, and I guess you just have to read it to find out how it goes.
How long have you guys been working in the comic book industry?
Joe?
Well, I've been working professionally for over 22 years. I think I'm actually getting close to 24 with this past summer. That's right. I'm getting old.
Just skipping 23 years, just going from 22 to 24?
Right to 24. 23, odd number. Very strange. So, yeah, I think this is my 24th year in the biz. So it's been a blast this last year working primarily on this project alone. So watching it all come together and getting a chance to work with Ian on it has been fantastic. I mean, we got some other collaborators that are just crushing it on this. It started with Bill Sienkiewicz, who we spoke a bit about prior to the interview. And Mark Teixeira is also lending his hand, both to some layouts in the later issues and some inks in the early on. And both of those guys, when they handle artwork, I mean, they make it their own. So it's very interesting seeing their pages compared to what I get to do over Ian. So that's a blast.
And you?
I've been in and out of the industry for a long time. I started off about 25 years ago. I entered Neil Adams' studio. I was a kid, wet behind the ears, and he said, you can hang around, kid, and learn as much as you can. And I learned a lot. I learned from him. I learned from Lou Small Jr. I learned from Mark Teixeira. I learned from Mark Pasella, assisting him back on X-Force.
Oh, wow. I remember those issues.
Yeah, with Dan Panosian.
Yeah.
And then my brother and I, my twin brother Guy Dorian and I, went on to work for toy companies and so forth. My brother was a designer, I was a sculptor, and then I was an assistant for Mark Teixeira on other books like Hercules, Ghost Rider. And then, like I said, in and out of the industry. I am a professor for 17 years.
We bring the science to the comics, legit.
Yeah, I studied in Pietrasanta, northern Tuscany. I was a marble carver and a figurative sculptor and painter, Baroque and Renaissance style mostly. But I love comic books and I love stories. Mostly I want to tell stories. And I have to just say, Joe was very, he didn't really give himself the credit he deserves. He is by far at least one of the top 4, in my opinion, greatest inkers in the industry.
I like to think top one of the entire industry. No, I'll give Scott credit. I'll take number 2 and be number 2.
He's amazing, and he doesn't just ink over my work.
And so humble.
He knows how to take a simple line that I've done and make it something that's worth looking at. And I was telling him before the interview that I feel like I wake up in the morning and then he shows up and there's makeup on my face, my hair is done in perfect lighting, and now everyone can see me. That's what he does with my pencils. He's really amazing.
It's all the product, my man. It's a product.
He's really amazing.
Very cool. You guys talked about stories and wanting to tell stories. Is there anything in particular about this story that really drew you to be the art department for this book?
Well, I can tell you personally, we wanted to tell a story that was more Shakespearean, and we're big lovers of an author and thinker, Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo wrote things people might know, like Hunchback of Notre Dame and Les Mis. Maybe they've heard of it. In any event, and much more. And the key thing about Victor Hugo is that Victor Hugo's stories were metaphoric. They weren't just literal. So he was speaking about what was going on in his time, the issues between the controlling factions and the people. So when I got together with Jim Kruger, I said, Jimmy, I really want to make sure that we have the kind of intrigue and personal conflict, deep personal conflict that Shakespeare would have, and the social implications that Victor Hugo would put in his work.
I love the parallels to modern society that you see here with the stories. You know, talking about a world that these people, this royal family came from that is dying, essentially. You know, they have to find a new planet to, you know, survive on, and it very much. You know, talking about corporate greed in modern society, I think is a very similar story being told in front of us every day. And I think this is a great way to kind of get the idea out there in a comic book fashion for fans to see, and maybe they'll read into it a little bit more and kind of understand that, hey, yeah, we got to take care of this planet. It's the only one we got. And, you know, if we keep sucking it dry, where are we going to go? You know,
exactly.
We're not there. We're not scientifically at the point where this royal family is. They can just be like, hey, let's go port over to this other world and, you know, live there instead. So it's I think it's very timely in that respect. So
yeah, I couldn't say it better.
Nice,
perfect.
Yeah, it's just a nice combination of, you know, the classic stories with, you know, something that can tell you a little bit about what we're living today.
All right, very cool, very cool. Now, my last question, you in particular have listed a very extensive journey to get to where you are. To anyone out there who wants to work like you guys have and follow in your footsteps, what would you recommend in today's era to pursue a career here in comic books?
Don't do it! My God, get your doctorate! Sorry, just kidding.
I'm just going to meme that for later.
Okay, well, I just want to say I did my master's and then did further studies, and I would say do comics. Don't get your doctorate.
Mama Weems wanted a lawyer, that's all I'm going to say, okay? So unhappy.
But I think it's a better question for Joe. He spent many years in the field, and I think he has a better handle on this.
I mean, I've done a few things, yes. I mean, honestly, the bottom line is, what I've always told everyone is follow your dreams, do what you love. It's that simple. Do what you love, what you want to become. Go for it, shoot for it. Practice every day, you know? I mean, that's how you get better at anything. Bottom line, I happened to want to draw comic books when I was a kid. I saw Art Adams on New Mutants Special Edition #1, had an epiphany, said I want to grow up and draw comic books like this guy, okay? Along the way, someone said, hey, your pencils suck, you should be an inker because your inks are way better. And I was like, I'm better than you, though. But it sunk in. I figured, well, it's a great way to break into the industry, if nothing else. This happened at a great time where inking was getting revolutionized by Scott Williams.
Yes.
And I saw what he was doing. I was like, well, okay, let's do that. And kind of just went with it from there. I've been very fortunate to work with some of the most amazing talents that this industry has had to offer in the last 20-plus years. Everyone from David Finch, Brandon Peterson, to Michael Turner, and God bless his soul, and Mark Silvestri, who I worked with for 7 years. And there's not a better penciler anywhere than that guy. And it is such an amazing process to be able to work with someone that you grew up admiring, whose work you can learn from. You can't help but learn when you ink over an artist. You know, you're inking over their lines, so you can absorb that when you're doing it. And being able to absorb from some of the best is a blessing. So can't complain, let me tell you. So yeah, don't worry about the doctorate, kids. You don't need that.
I will tell you.
Comic books.
Yes. I will
Buy
tell
my DVD from Noman Workshop. How to ink comic books.
I learned. I bought it. I bought that.
Yeah.
So
BitTorrent it online.
I just want to tell you, I actually loved and collected everything he did with Mark Silvestri. So for me, it's kind of a dream come true, to be honest, to be working with Joe. I immediately identified with their work, Joe's and Mark Silvestri's. Silvestri was, I could see immediately, this is a guy who I understand, and even though he doesn't know who I am, he understands me, you know? But about surviving or doing well in this industry, do the job diligently. Be committed to what you're doing. Know that when you're sleeping, someone else is working. Know that when you're working hard, somebody, guess what, is working harder. Know that when you met one person, somebody made strong efforts to know everyone. And it's important. This is entertainment. It's not for the weary or the weak, and it's not for the weak of heart. It's a lot of work, and we take pride in committing a lot of work and love and passion, and we all recognize people like that. So if you want to be known, it's not because someone knew someone necessarily. It's usually because someone was so good that they finally got that other someone to notice them. So I would say be that good, and people will want to be next to you. People will want to work with you, and people will want to know you.
Be that good.
And it's awesome sitting down next to you guys. It's been a pleasure to talk.
It's a pleasure to do this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Real quick, do you guys have Twitter, websites, anywhere the folks at home could follow you?
Joe Weems V on Facebook, DeviantArt. Don't bother with Twitter, it's a joke.
I'm on Facebook. You'll find it. It's the guy with my name that looks like me. I'm actually on LinkedIn. I really enjoy LinkedIn. I like it a lot. It's a very good forum for connecting with other professionals. I would say Facebook is very good for connecting with lots of fans and collectors and other professionals. And I'm also on Twitter. So Ian Dorian 1 on Twitter. Just put my name in and you'll find me.
And don't forget PKMM Entertainment, of course, who's putting this whole project together.
Yes.
So, I mean, without them, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. You know, I think Baltimore was the first show where they got the word out. This is their second. Got Rhode Island coming up next, their next stop. So just keep the eye out.
Yeah.
You know, book hits in January. Law of Resistance.
That's right.
Bottom line, check it out, guys.
I just want to say PKMM, I've been very close with Matthew for many, many years, who was, again, Matthew Pilata, the co-creator on this. And we were both very committed to giving fans not just any book, but the best book we could put together. So we committed in time, and PKMM committed in time, money, and hard work to bring together the best talents in the industry. We really want to give people something worth reading that they'll enjoy for years, and we wanted to bring them the teams of people that they've come to love, and they can get it all here with PKMM Entertainment.
Awesome. All right, I am Tim Dowd. I'm here with Ian Dorian, Joe Weems. The book is Law of Resistance from PKMM Entertainment, dropping in January.